Ever since the Gameboy made its debut in the 80s, handheld gaming had its ups and downs in terms of popularity. Right now, with the release of the Steam Deck, we are on the cusp of another rise in popularity. Why the Steam Deck and all of its future revisions are going to play a key role in making handheld gaming feel new again will be answered right after the intro. Even though a lot of people are calling the Steam Deck a beefed up version of the Nintendo Switch, this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, except the mobility, there isn't much that both consoles have actually in common. One of them is a console selling in the millions, still selling most of its software through physical mediums. And the other one is the PC's biggest digital distribution platform for gaming that is directly integrated now into a console. Let's just imagine that you are able to take not only your vast library of games, but also the entire Steam library with you on the go to wherever you want. Having a powerful, portable PC with you that is above all very fun to play on. Imagine you're in a hotel and you want to play on a TV, just plug it in. Or you don't want to be walled in like you are on other consoles. Just install other launchers, stores, or even a completely different operating system. This is the power of the Steam Deck. These exact things are the reason why gaming for the first time in many years feels new again. But let's actually start at the beginning. When ordering, you can choose between 3 different versions. 2 of them only differ in storage size and what kind of anti-glare coating you actually prefer. Well, this right here is the smallest version. It has the same specs as its bigger brothers, the same AMD APU, but only 64GB of onboard eMMC storage. Well, it's also the cheapest one, coming in at 419 euros. That's roughly €100 more than what I paid for my old Nintendo Switch. 64GB isn't a lot of storage. But microSD card support of up to 1TB per card makes it very easy to add more if you need more. And you definitely will need more. Now let's be very clear, the Steam Deck, in my opinion, is the best way to enter into the world of PC gaming right now, especially considering the prices for a half-decent desktop gaming PC or gaming notebook. And it's quite a lot of fun. A huge amount of fun, actually. And the huge is meant literally. This is the chunky boy. I expected to get a slightly bigger version of the Switch, and what I got was the Switch's American cousin. Weighing in at roughly 700 grams, I expected it to tire my arms while playing a prolonged session of Ollie Ollie World for the first time, but I'm glad to say I mostly prop it up on my lap, mitigating the weight equally above all of my limbs. Obviously, while this is not a gaming laptop in size and weight, this can still demand most of the space inside of your backpack, especially when traveling with the case. With that out of the way, the Steam Deck itself is a really well designed, portable gaming PC, as long as you have, well, big hands. When holding it firmly, you can reach every button, the grip is feeling nice, and the 4 back buttons are a very welcome addition, especially when it comes to pedal shifting in racing games. To my surprise, I was expecting to play most of my games like actually playing on the Xbox or the PlayStation, using both of the thumbsticks for movement and camera rotation, and using the trigger buttons on top for everything else. This is classic gamepad 101, but over time, I actually got used to and now prefer using the trackpads, especially in mouse-heavy games such as shooters or, and I can't believe I'm saying this, real-time strategy games. Yeah, I wanted to see how it feels playing one of my favorite desktop games, aka Homeworld, on the deck, and after trying and understanding the control schemes with the trackpad, it became very intuitive and above all, absolutely playable. But if you can't wrap your brain around this kind of input, you can still either use gyro aiming or plug in a mouse and a keyboard through a separate dock. To finish off the button mashing, there's also a dedicated Steam one, bringing up the main menu, shops and more. On the other side you get an option toggle. On the top there are 2 volume controls as well as the USB-C and the power on button. Now the first thing that really worried me while ordering the Steam Deck nearly, well, a year ago was the screen and its rather lackluster pixel count. 720p. But after using the device for 3 weeks now, this is something I don't even think about anymore. I much rather enjoy the performance of the deck. Being able to play games with a steady 60 frames per second on the go is such a great thing, and in hindsight, I'm glad that Valve decided to go for performance over visual quality. Let's just think this through for a second. Paying 400 euros for a portable PC, being able to play games like Cyberpunk on the go, and even though the deck's panel is only capable of outputting 400 nits, everything on there was vibrant, looked great, and above all, a blast to play. Speaking of blast, the built-in stereo speakers are mighty impressive for being, well, built-in speakers. You can clearly differentiate the mids and the highs. There's even some deep ends in there, but as soon as you want to fully immerse yourself in a game, you should grab yourself a pair of wireless headphones. Weirdly enough, I had and still have quite some connection issues with a lot of my earbuds, especially the AirPods Max won't connect to the deck. I hope this gets ironed out sometime in the future, rather now than later. Speaking of ironing things out, if you want to, you can actually ditch the SteamOS operating system completely and begin building yourself a handheld gaming rig on another OS altogether. Say, well, Windows in that case. Since I primarily wanted to buy it for playing my Steam games, I haven't tinkered with those things yet, but installing Chrome onto the Linux distribution and using Netflix on the deck was and is working flawlessly. Now, one thing that actually stunned me while using the deck in its natural habit, aka, well, playing games and playing even more games on top of that, was the performance and especially the battery life of this thing. You're getting a highly optimized AMD Zen 2 CPU as well as an RDNA 2 graphics chip with 16GB of LPDDR5 RAM. If this techno bubble isn't really understandable for you, the Steam Deck is ready and was designed to play everything you can throw at it right now in a decent enough frame rate with a very acceptable battery life. To test this, I played Black Mesa for 3 hours straight before I had to plug the deck in. I almost forgot that I played on my sofa handheld. After that, I tried Wreckfest, and it's the most played game in my library when it comes to the deck. Steady 30, mostly 60 frames per second, 2 to 3 hours of playtime on one charge. Cyberpunk, 2 hours of Cyberpunk on the go. Homeworld and Homeworld 2, buttery smooth 60 frames per second, 4 hours of gameplay. Ollie Ollie World, F1 2021, all of them ran without any problems and above all were a blast to play for hours on end. What I'm trying to say with all of that is the following. If you play primarily older games, the Steam Deck is the perfect handheld on-the-go PC game supercomputer. As soon as you start going into the AAA realms of gaming, expect dropped frames, mostly 30 FPS and a hard hit in battery life to maximum 1 to 2 hours between charging. If you are okay with that, then you are in for a treat. Let's say how it is, I had a great time with the Steam Deck so far, and for the first time in years, this thing made games that I played years ago, sometimes even a decade ago, feel new and fresh again. And that's a thing I lastly experienced while using the Oculus Rift in 2016 for the first time. As always, if you have any questions regarding the Steam Deck, feel free to ask me in the comments and I will try to answer it there. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Leech and I'm off writing the next scripts. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. There are plenty more of this type of content and many other things available for you to watch. Have a great day, see you around and, well, goodbye.